Hopefully most of you have read the novel 1984 by George Orwell, classic piece of American literature. And if you haven't, then please stop this video, go read it right now. It's a short read and it's incredibly good, very powerful, something I think everybody should read. But in that book, there's this idea of a society in which the government is always constantly watching. You can see every little thing that you do, every move that you make. Well, I have a fear that as technology is getting better and more advanced and more prolific, we're starting to reach what George Orwell feared. And there's a trend going on right now with local police departments that I think go right along with that theory. So that's what we're talking about this week. So stick around and we'll chat about it. Happy Friday, everybody. Hope you're having a great week and gearing up for another good weekend. Like I said in the intro, we're talking about this new trend that I've been noticing with a lot of the local police departments, especially here in Texas and kind of all over. And that is this trend where they are outsourcing their investigation methods to the community at large through the use of home security cameras and home security devices. And here's what I mean by that. There are several different companies. The one that I've most recently seen is this Flock security company that they ask residents to register their cameras with the police department in order to give the police real-time information for what they say in the event of a crime or a crisis or an emergency situation. Now, this idea isn't altogether new. I mean, Flock has been around for years and some level of this has been around for some time. It started with these neighborhoods, specifically, HOA neighborhoods or gated neighborhoods would install these cameras that would read the license plates of cars that passed these camera stations. And then those license plate numbers would be checked in police databases to see if the vehicle is stolen, if it's the subject of an Amber Alert or a Silver Alert, if there is a warrant for the arrest of the registered owner of the vehicle, and then that information would be sent to the police agency for them to do with as they wish. Now, I remember when these came out, I did feel slightly uneasy at the idea of that, but at its core, it didn't violate any constitutional principles. It wasn't an illegal search because it's a vehicle that's operating on a public road, and the only information that it's reading is the license plate number. So it felt weird, it felt odd and bizarre and kind of icky, but there was nothing necessarily inherently wrong with it. And then they took it a step further and they asked people to start registering their home security cameras. So if you have, whether it's Vivint or Blink or Amazon or Ring, they ask you to go to a website and register that you have a camera that faces the outdoor areas of your neighborhood. And the theoretical purpose of that registry was so that if a crime occurred in the vicinity of your house, the police would know, hey, there was a camera there, and so we should go ask that individual if they would be willing to check the footage to see if there's any evidence of the crime occurring. And again, it felt off, it felt weird, but there was nothing necessarily violative about it. There was nothing necessarily inherently dangerous about that. Well, now what I've been seeing is they're taking this a step further, and they're asking residents who have these cameras to now integrate these cameras in their system so that in the time of an emergency, the police department would have live access to that camera so they could see the video feed from that camera. And now we're really getting into an area that makes me uncomfortable, not only as a criminal defense lawyer, but just kind of as a member of society in general. Now we're getting into the area where the police departments are wanting kind of round-the-clock closed circuit television that they can monitor, and they say they would only use it in the time of an emergency or in a where crime is occurring. But again, the idea that we would trust them not to abuse that power is a little bit too much for me. Now, I know that if I have any people that watch these videos in foreign countries, specifically like the UK or places over in Europe, this is a concept that's not necessarily that foreign to you. I know there's a lot of CCTVs in those countries, and so the idea that you're being filmed while in public is something that's may not necessarily be foreign to you, but at least here in America, it is something that until now has been something that's incredibly new. I mean, that's not something that we've ever really had. We've always expected that you're going to be recorded in certain private places, so such as banks, that's a private building, or a private corporate office or something like that. Then the owner of that building can place security cameras, convenience stores, the like. But the idea of a network of cameras that all feeds back to a law enforcement agency is just an idea that I'm not altogether that comfortable with. I think that's much too Orwellian. I think it's very dangerous. It's a slippery slope. It could end up getting us into a lot of legal gray areas that I'd rather avoid. And I think, honestly, for law enforcement's sake too, I think it opens up a lot of liability that I don't think is necessary. For example, what if they're supposed to be monitoring that feed and then an emergency happens and they don't react quick enough? Does that open them up to some type of legal lawsuit by saying you saw this person being victimized and you didn't dispatch somebody there in a reasonable amount of time? I mean, I just think it opens a Pandora's box of questions. Now, admittedly, this is certainly not something that's happening everywhere. It's very, very new. It's not something that I have dived into with a whole lot of depth. It's just this is what I've seen in some of the local municipalities around where I live. And so it's definitely one of these topics that I think would be worthwhile for you and I, as viewers, to discuss and see what are people's thoughts. I mean, there are pros, there are cons, and there are definitely two sides to this type of conversation. So, you can leave a comment here. You can leave your thoughts down below, and that's certainly, appreciated. But what I'd actually prefer you do is to join me on one of my live streams on Wednesday or Sunday nights over on Twitch. And these are the types of topics that I love discussing in real time with people that have thoughts on this. I mean, because I haven't really formulated what my final opinion is. I think I know which way I'm leaning. I don't necessarily think I like the idea, but I'm willing to discuss it. And so come by the Twitch stream. The web address, the link is down below in the video description. And join me and we can talk about this or any other topic that you feel is worth discussing. So look into it, do some research, see what you think. Let me know what your thoughts are. And as always, if you have any questions about this or anything else, just feel free to reach out and let me know. And I'm happy to answer whatever I can. Look forward to seeing you on the next one of these videos. I look forward to seeing you on Sundays and Wednesday nights over on Twitch for my live stream. And until I talk to you there, I want everybody out there to be good and stay on the right side of the bars.